Would you follow through this bluff after a misclick? We're playing 1-2 and I open to what I think is a standard £10 for the table, but unfortunately I've missed the straddle at the far end, which means it's only a min raise. They'll now probably defend with whatever napkins they've been dealt because nobody likes folding their straddle in live poker, and especially not for a 5 or more. Before we see a flop, I can't help but wonder aloud if this encounter could have been avoided.
Would you have folded to 15?
Understandably, no answer then, but sometimes you do get a bite, so it was worth a try. We're off to a flop of King 7 Deuce Rainbow, which is obviously pretty reasonable for my range. So when the straddle checks, I limply toss out £6, hoping we can put an end to this adventure early doors. No luck though, as he calls fairly swiftly, and the turn is a Badoogie 5. This is a little out there, but considering we didn't see a 3-bet or check raise on flop, the straddle is certainly struggling for really good hands here. They will have an abundance of single pair hands that really hate seeing significant aggression, and those far outweigh the unlikely sets that certainly feature at some frequency as well. So while from a blockers and outs perspective, I would certainly rather have a hand like 5-4 or Ace Deuce to bluff with here, I think in practice and in this particular spot, we can get away with being a little looser. I choose a very large bet size of £55, which suits the multitudes of strong top pair and better I can have in this spot, coupled with my opponent's range drowning in mediocrity. Sadly for me, but notably after a much lengthier deliberation, they toss in the £55 and we're off to a river. I would say a long tank in this spot is more likely to be a weaker hand contemplating hanging on than something pondering a check raise, as hands like sets I'd almost always expect my opponent to play as a call. So when the river changes effectively nothing in the form of the 6 of diamonds and my opponent checks again, I'm considering going against my usual instincts and electing to bluff this one. Usually a player calling an overbet on this turn is in fight or flight mode, and this river is very unlikely to encourage a change of heart. Also, my removal is cheeks, as we've already touched on, so I think generally speaking we have to wave the white flag here. This is not one of those times though, as I'm hoping the turn tank is the product of a hand that really doesn't want to stick the last £215 in, so after double checking the stack sizes and sticking with my read, I'm going for it.
All in. All in.
A brief pause here and a moment of silence for the additional £215 I've just launched into oblivion, as my opponent takes approximately a millisecond to toss in a chip and relieve me of my money after my sick reads.
You in. He bluffs, she doesn't work. Ooh, charity look.
I just muck since there's no way I win getting called that fast, or at any speed I'd imagine, and we get shown a 5, which I will tell myself is only half the story so I can sleep at night. So,